Oh, I know. I'm sliding backwards and forwards. While people are just joining us, if you are already here, just making sure that you've got 2 blocks or 2 books, or in my case, whatever, because I've just placed a block. And make sure they're roughly about the same height, just so that you can use them at some point in the practice. There's obviously no playlist for today. If you want to put on background music, by all means do so, because you will be muted. We'll do a short kind of warm-up preparatory sequence to get us going, and then we'll move into actually working through some arm balances. So when we come to that point, if you have any questions, you can always unmute yourself and just turn it into more of a actual workshop where you can ask questions as we go along. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's you guys on my laptop. It's just so I can see you while we're doing it, because otherwise you're teeny tiny and I can't give you any feedback. Okay, I think we're waiting on another 2. If you're here already, we're actually going to start lying down on our backs. So if you want to make your way into Shavasana just so you have extra time, you're very welcome to head there now. Okay, I think that's all of us. So yeah, if you're not already there, just making sure you're lying down on your back. I'll catch you up. Just taking these first few moments to settle into the body. Bringing the feet quite wide apart on your mat, bringing the arms down by the side of the body and the palms upturned. Just allow yourself to start to settle in. Start to become aware of any sensations occurring. Doing a quick scan of the body, so taking a moment to notice perhaps the way the ankles feel. Perhaps noticing whether both feet are evenly falling out or whether one has more contact with the ground than the other. Start to notice the way the back of the calves and the back of the thighs feel. Noticing the glutes, then becoming aware of the spine. The back of the shoulders, the backs of the arms, perhaps the back of the hands. And start to feel witness to the breath. Noticing whether you're drawing breath into the upper body or whether you can expand down into the belly. So just starting to deepen and accentuate that breath as you inhale, encouraging the belly to fill, the chest to rise. And with your exhale, gently invite the chest and the belly to lower down. With your next inhale, breathing into the width of the body, imagine spreading the ribcage wide apart as you inhale. And as you exhale, gently hug the ribs back in towards the spine. Inhaling to breathe into the back of the body, spreading the shoulder blades, lifting all the way up into the top of the shoulders. And as you exhale, let the body feel heavy as you ground back down onto the mat. One more time, inhaling to fill belly, to fill chest. Exhaling it out. Inhaling into the width of the body, spread yourself wide. And exhale back to center. Inhale, draw breath into the back of the body, spread yourself wider, lift yourself up, 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 up. And then exhale, ground yourself down. And just start to develop and become aware of your own breath. You'll count the nooks and crannies of your body that the breath fills. With your next inhalation, I invite you to reach the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, gently allow the arms to come back behind you, touching the ground behind the head. Start to point the toes, really reach the fingers away. Invite as much length as you can to the front of the body. And then as you exhale, release the feet. Release the tension in the arms and slowly circle them down by your side and back down by the side of the body. Doing that 2 more times, inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling them behind. Then really pull the fingers away, point the toes. Breathe in, fill the belly. And exhale, release the tension, sweep the arms down by your side. Last time, reach the arms up and behind. Point the toes, accentuate that movement, really pull. Engage the quads, lift the kneecaps. Exhale, soften, release the arms down by your side. Good, and then gently we're going to start to bend the knees, and you can keep the eyes closed if you'd like to keep the practice fairly internal for now. We're going to spend a while on our backs. So just bending the knees, planting the feet. We're just going to start to move the pelvis, so just becoming aware as you push your glutes down that you create that space at the low back. And then as you exhale, I'd like you to tilt the pelvis the other way, pressing the low back down towards the ground. Inhaling to fill, create space. Exhaling to accentuate, send the low back down. 2 more times. Inhale to fill. Exhale to come down. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, keep the low back down. Keep the front of the body, the rib cage, starting to draw in towards itself. Keeping the left hand on the left hip for me, I'd like you to extend the right leg all the way down. Try and keep that front of the body engaged. Keep the pelvis tucking underneath. Good. Bring the right hand down by the side of you. Pressing down through that left hand, so we're going to help to stabilize the left hip. I'd like you to engage the right leg, pull the toes towards you, and just lift the heel off the mat, just a tiny bit. Notice already whether the rib cage has started to flare, whether you've created space at the low back, and gently keep pressing it down. And then draw the leg out about an inch to the right. Good. Now start to make circles, moving 3 times in one direction, keeping them quite small, and then 3 the other way. So we're just going to start to wake up the hip flexors. Once you've done 3 in both directions, gently draw the leg back to the center. Lower the heel down. We're going to do that 2 more times. So keeping the ribs engaged, draw the leg up, bring the leg out. So we're not going very high and we're not going very wide. And then keeping the circle small, noticing whether the foot wants to turn out and trying to always point the toes in a little bit into internal rotation. Once you've done 3 in both directions, bring it back to center. Let it come down, reset the rib cage. Last time, draw the leg up and out. 3 in one direction. And then 3 the other way. Draw the leg back to center. And then hug the right knee in towards the chest. Squeeze the knee in. And then gently plant the right foot down. Bring the right hand onto the right hip and extend the left leg. So starting by simply bracing the left leg, pulling the toes towards you, pressing the heel away, and the heel might lift off already. Engaging the quads, lift the leg up slightly, keep the ribs down. Draw the leg out about an inch to the side, make sure the toes are tracking straight up or slightly in, and then making circles, 3 in one direction. And then 3 going the other way. Bring the leg back to center, lower the heel down, reset the ribs, and then straight back up and out. 3. And go the other way. To center and down. Reset last time, raise the leg up and out. Circling. Slowly, slowly. Back to center. And then hug the left knee in towards the chest. Squeeze it in nice and tight. Good, and then this time bring the right knee in as well. So we're going to take both knees towards the chest, taking Apanasana. And perhaps notice whether one foot instinctively slides over the other and see if you can just draw them so they run next to each other, keeping the hips level. Perhaps notice whether as you inhale, whether the belly is starting to expand against the thighs. And then slowly, I'd like you to bring the arms up above the shoulders. Fingers point towards the ceiling for a moment. So find that nice long line, and then pull the fingers back towards you. And then point the fingers up towards the ceiling again. Pull the fingers back. Point the fingers up. Pull the fingers back. This time as we point the fingers up, we're going to point them the other way. So we're starting to stretch the wrist all the way through its range of motion, but this time just come to the top. And then pull the fingers back down towards the forearm. Fingers up. Fingers down towards the forearm. Fingers up towards the ceiling. Great. And now we're going to move all the way through. So pull the fingers back towards your face. And then pull them the other way. Up and back. Really actively engage both directions. Start to wake up the forearms a little bit so they're getting ready to take our weight. Good, and then pull the fingers back towards you. Make sure the hands are stacked over the shoulders, and then retract the shoulder blades behind you. So you squeeze the shoulder blades together. The hands might have now gone a little bit wider. That's okay. See if you can squeeze them in a little bit. Okay. From here, send the knees away slightly. Keep the ribs engaged. Keep the low back down. Draw the knees about hip width distance apart. You can keep the feet together, or you can let the feet come apart, up to you. With your next in-breath, make it a big one. Really fill the belly up. And then as you exhale, squeeze the knees in towards the armpits on both sides. The hips might lift slightly. It's a good thing if they do. Inhale, let the feet and knees go away. Exhale, squeeze in nice and tight. Inhale away. Exhale, squeeze it in. Good. We're going to add a little step. So send the legs away. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the knees in towards the armpits. Let the hips lift. And then straighten the legs a little bit towards the ceiling as if you're going to find happy baby. Bend the knees back. And then release the knees away. So we're bringing the knees towards the armpit. Pointing the toes towards the ceiling. Keeping the knees bent. Bend the knees. Send them away. 3 more times. Knees to armpits. Feet towards the ceiling. Feet come down, knees away. 2 more. Nice, good. Last time. Then we're going to hold here. Really squeeze the knees in. Let the hips lift a little bit. Keep pulling the knees down towards the armpits. 1 more breath in. Pull the toes back towards you. Release the hips down. Take the hands to the inside or the outside of the feet. Find your way into a happy baby. I apologize for that noise. There is a fly in here somewhere. I don't know if you can hear it. Making sure the feet come quite wide apart and really press the feet down. So we're really inviting space into the hips on both sides. And again, perhaps notice if one hip feels tighter than the other. Maybe you want to invite some movement, rocking left and rocking right. Coming to find stillness, drawing the knees back in towards the chest. Okay, straighten the left leg down, keep the right knee hugging in. Really squeeze the right knee tight. And then send the arms again over the shoulders. Pull the fingers back towards you. So we're going to need to get a little bit more momentum this time. So we're going to draw the right knee in towards the armpit, lift the left leg up. Swap the legs in the air with the hips slightly lifted, lower the right leg down, keep the ribs engaged. This time left knee is in. Right leg goes up, hips lift, left leg goes up, right knee bends, left leg straightens down to ground. Left leg up to the ceiling, right leg swaps, knee in, right leg goes down. 2 more on each side, right leg goes up, hips lift, swap the legs, lower down. Try and keep the bent knee pressing in against the arm as you lower the other leg. So we're really keeping us nice and compressed here. Ooh. Good. Good. Hopefully starting to feel a bit more waking up in the core. Draw the knees in towards the chest and just rock it out left and right.
Planting the feet down. Bringing the hands down alongside the body. Making sure the pelvis tucks underneath. Start to pull the toes up so we come onto the heels. And then gently, we're going to take a few bridges, really focusing on the glutes. So coming up, toes raised. Once you find your way up, draw the ribcage in and then pull the heels back towards you. So we're really hitting into the glutes and the hamstrings. Keep pulling the heels back. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Release the tension, lower the hips down. Take a deep breath in, let the low back curl. Exhale, press the low back down, lift the hips all the way up. Pull the heels back towards you, fire up into the glutes, make sure the ribs stay tucked. 1 more breath in. Exhale, lower down. Take a full breath at the top, arch the spine. Exhale, press the low back down, lift the hips up. And pull the heels towards you as hard as you can. Make sure those toes are lifted. Really pull back. Watch the knees don't flare out. Squeeze them in. 1 more breath in. Exhale all the way down. Nice. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Okay, last one, and then I promise to do something a little bit more yogi. Lift the arms forward. Turn the palms up. Good, and then gently curl the head and the shoulders off. Good. Allow the knees to come out so they're over the top of the hips. Good. Okay, I'd like you to twist both legs to the right side. Twist both legs to the left side. Keep the low back pressing down. Good. Twist to the right. Twist to the left. Build up a little bit more speed. Just twisting right and left, just starting to wake up the obliques. Again, notice if there's a difference from one side to the other. Make sure the knees don't come closer to you. Keep them over the hips. Maybe lift the chest a little bit higher. Good. And release down. Draw the knees in. Whew, okay, start to rock and roll up and down the spine. Find your way to a seated position. And then roll yourself over, find your way into your tabletop. We're doing arm balances, we don't want to spend too much time on our hands beforehand, otherwise the wrists are all knackered out before we've got a chance. Okay, bring the hands down underneath the shoulders. Good. So we're going to start with an extended puppy and just find a little bit of space in the shoulder region. So we're going to keep hips stacked over knees, walk the hands forward, and then instead of passively just dropping, I want you to really press the ground away. Push, 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 push. Take 1 more long breath in. As you exhale, soften the forearms down onto the mat for me. Tuck the toes underneath. We're going to inhale, lift the knees up. And then we're going to shift the weight forward. So you find a way into a 4-arm plank. You might need to wiggle the feet back a bit. And then lower yourself all the way down. Good. Sorry. Someone's... Yes. Okay. So finding your way down into your sphinx, elbows underneath the shoulders. Okay. So start to press down through the knuckles of the hands. Really making sure that we're pulling the hands towards us so we're spreading the collarbones. Keep the fingertips pressing down and just start to raise the end of the thumb. And lower it down. Start to raise the end of the first finger. Lower it down. Middle finger. Down. Ring finger. Down. Little finger. Down and work your way back. Little finger. Ring finger. Middle finger. First finger, done. Good. Okay. So from here we have variations. You can start to press down through the top of the feet. Make sure it's all 10 toes and not just the big toes.
And you might just engage, lift the quads, engage the kneecaps, and pull the core back. That might be your challenge. You might be pressing down with the top of the feet, bracing the core and hovering off and lowering down. Take the version that suits you. We're going to do 5 of these. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in your Sphinx, pull the hands towards you. Exhale, press down, round into the spine, either lift or just engage. Lower down, inhale. Exhale, press down, push the ground away, lift. Inhale, calm down, lift the chest. Good. 3 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. Last one. Make it a good one. Good. And then lift up one leg. You knew it wasn't going to get easier. Good. Lower the leg down. Pick up the other leg. Lower it down, splat. Good. Bring yourself down. Bring the hands underneath the forehead. Just wiggle the hips from side to side. I'm just going to wake up the glutes a little bit because we do use them quite a lot in our balances to pick up the legs. So keeping the head down, I'm going to engage the legs. So we're lifting the kneecaps, engaging the quads, and just lift the legs off the mat. Good, and then just start to wiggle the legs, going as high as you can, making sure the hips press down. Just start to wake up through the hamstrings, through the glutes. Keep going, maybe get the legs a little bit higher, really wake up. Good, release the legs down. Okay, bend the knees out. It's very ladylike. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. I'm not a bendy wendy, so my feet are hovering because they physically won't get to the ground. If you're a bendy wendy and your feet touch the ground, wonderful. If they don't, you're probably going to look slightly more like Kermit the Frog like me. Okay, I would like you to please press the feet together. You should feel the glutes start to engage. And then maybe see if you can lift the knees up and lower down. 3 more of those. Press the feet, engage the glutes, lift the knees. And down. 2 more. Press and lift. And down. Last one. Up, hold. You knew that was coming. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And down. Release the legs. Good. Give the legs a bit of a wiggle. Give the hips a bit of a wiggle left to right. Okay. Tuck the toes underneath, bring the hands underneath the shoulders for me. Tuck the toes. Push up, find your way into a tabletop shape. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Okay, if you fall into my category, i.e. your elbows bend slightly, I'm not going to say the wrong way, they just keep bending. Make sure you micro bend them and then turn the creases in towards each other. So we're working with long arms and we're using muscles, not hanging out in our joints. Okay, we're just going to start by making a full cycle in one direction all the way around. And then go the other way. Good. Come to find neutral for you. We're going to do the exercise raising the ends of the fingers. So we're not raising the whole finger, just the end. Ground down through the knuckle closest to the palm, and then try and lift up your thumb. Keep the knuckle down. Good. Lower the thumb down. Raise up the first finger, keep the knuckle down. Good. Raise up the middle finger. Down, try and raise up the ring finger. Lower it down. Raise up the little finger. And down. Okay, for a lot of you, you're leaning back as you're trying to pick up the fingers. Try and keep the weight straight down over the hands. Okay, go back the other way. Raise up the little finger. Good, and down. And the ring finger. Go on, Charlotte. Yes, and down. Raise up the middle finger. And down. Raise up the first finger. And down. Raise up the thumb. And down. Good. Okay. Tuck the toes underneath. Walk yourself back. So we're going to come to sit on the heels. For a lot of us, this is horribly uncomfortable if the bottom of your feet are quite tight, if you're in that world, you're welcome to bring your block and either sit on it that way or bring it on top of the heels to take out some of the weight so you're not pressing directly down. If you're comfortable and your toes feel like they're not going to break away, you're very welcome to shuffle the knees further forward to accentuate that stretch in the bottom of the feet. Take what works for you, and then to distract you, I'd like you to bring the arms out in front and turn the palms up. Draw the rib cage in, reach the arms up, 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 up. Try and pull the hands back towards the ears. Tendency is the head goes forward to meet them. Keep the chin pulling back. Keep trying to pull the arms back, wake off the upper back. Good, and bring them down. One more time, ribs in, reach the arms up. Keep pulling the palms away. Good, and bring them down. Okay, start to pulsate the hands out to the side. Fingers go in and out, in and out, in and out, including the thumb all the way up. And then come down in front of you. Go back the way you came, go up in front of you. And bring the arms down by your side. One more time, out to the side. Hopefully thinking more about your forearms now than about your toes. Bring the hands down in front of you. Notice which hand slows down first. One always does. Go back up. Go out to the side. Good. Okay, shift the weight forward. Sorry, Maria.
Bring the hands down. Good. And just gently pat out the tops of the feet. Okay. Tuck the toes back underneath. They are not broken. Push back and find your first downward facing dog. So keeping the knees soft, really try and accentuate finding the length through the body. Maybe walking the feet back if you need to. Take a really long, good breath in. Pull the fingertips in towards the knuckles. Press the knuckles firmly down. And that includes big finger and thumb. Micro bend at the elbows and then roll the shoulders out away from the ears. Don't bunch them up. Good, and then for most of us, notice that the rib cage has just opened up wide and try and hug it back in again. Good. Take one more long, deep breath in. And then slowly start to walk the feet forward towards the hands. Good. Inhale, lift halfway, bring the hands to the shins, press the hips back, draw the crown of the head forward, find a long, flat spine. Exhale, bend the knees, allow the belly to rest on the thighs, head feels heavy. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, bend the knees, fall down. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bend the knees to fold. Plant the hands down, step the left foot to the back of the mat. And then drop the left knee down. Untuck the toe. Reaching the arms up overhead. Start to sink down into the front knee. Notice if the knee comes past the ankle, and if it does, just shuffle it a bit further away. Good, and then imagine pulling the thighs towards each other. It will help pull that right hip back and push the left hip forward. Sinking deeper into that space. Noticing the ribs at the front, and you sound like a broken record. Draw the rib cage in a bit. Turn the palms all the way around, and again, pull the hands back, so we're breathing into the upper back. Take one more long breath cycle in. As you exhale, bring the hands down to frame. Good, and then start to straighten the front leg. You might need to move the hands back, it's fine. And then as you exhale, bend into the knee, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Good, exhale, bend forward over the front leg. Good, inhale, bend into the knee, roll the shoulders back, lift. Good, exhale, bring the hands down to frame. Tuck the back toe.
Lift up the back knee. Good, and then bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Okay. You might need to walk the right foot slightly wider if you've got quite broad shoulders. I'll leave that with you. And I just want you to shift the weight forward and back. So come onto the tiptoes of the left leg, push the heel back. Forward and back. Start to find more space through the hips. Maybe see if you can soften the elbows a little bit, go a little bit lower. Notice as you start to soften the elbows, the way the spine rounds up, and see if you can keep pushing the hip back. Pull the crown of the head forward, keep length. Good. Good. And then bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Step the right foot back into your plank. Good. So with your plank, we're tucking the pelvis underneath. And if this feels too much, you can always drop the knees down into a tabletop. What we're going to do here is we're going to raise up the ends of the fingers again. So raising the thumb. And knees go down. Raise the first finger. Middle finger. Ring finger. Little finger. Work your way back. Don't shift the weight. Really start to wake up those forearms. Good. And then everyone drop the knees into a tabletop. Okay. So back into your tabletop again, just keeping on to waking up the forearms so we're nice and safe. We're going to start to raise the heels of the hands up, leaving the fingers down. And then as you exhale, as slowly as you can, lower the heels of the hands back down. Jenny and a few of you have done these with me before. If you want to, you're very welcome to do them in plank. It makes it considerably harder. You take what works for you, but slowly bring the heels of the hands up. Yeah, and then as you exhale, bring the heels of the hands back down. It's funny, everyone thinks they're going to be doable, and then they try it, and it's like, what? No. Bring the heels of the hands back up. And then exhale, lower them back down. Good. Okay, push back, find your downward facing dog. And then swapping sides, so raise the left leg up. Step the left foot forward, down to the hands. Drop the back knee. Good, untuck the back toes. Reaching the arms up. Same as we did before, so hugging the thighs towards each other, so instead of opening wide, we're squeezing in. Good. Turning the palms back, pulling the arms back towards the ears, ribs hug. Two more long, good deep breaths. Slowly bring the hands down. Start to straighten the front leg. Good. As you inhale, bend into the knee, roll the shoulders back, sweep the arms behind. Exhale, fold over the front leg. Inhale, bend into the knee, roll the shoulders behind. Exhale, fold over the front leg. Last time, inhale, peel yourself open. Good, and then exhale, close yourself down. Good, bend into the front knee, tuck the back toe, lift up the back leg, bring the left hand this time to the inside of the foot. So same thing again, firstly pull the left hip back, so we're not letting the left hip lead the movement, we're keeping the hips level. And then notice if you're rounding into the back and try and push the hip back, pull the head forward. Good, and then start to shift the weight forward and back. Maybe you want to soften the elbows a little bit, go a little bit deeper into this movement. But trying to keep the hips as low as you can, so we're not straightening either leg, just moving across the toes of the back foot. Good. Okay, bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Step the foot to the back of the mat. Hold your high plank. Pelvis tucks underneath, core is braced. And then push back down the dog. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, try and drop both forearms down together onto the mat. Good, push the hips back. Inhale, gaze shifts forward. Push with both hands together, pop back up into your normal downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, drop the forearms down. Push them together, pop back up. Downward dog. Last time, drop the forearms down and hold. So again, pulling the fingertips in towards the palm of the hand. Maybe bending the knees and walking the legs a little bit closer, but staying on the forearms. Push the ground away, take a deep breath in. Exhale, drop down onto the knees. Whew. Good, okay, find your way back up onto the tabletop.
Good. Turn the hands out and just gently shift the weight from side to side. Stretch out the wrists. If you know you're prone to locking out your elbows, bend them because you want to stretch the muscles, not the ligaments. Good. Turn the hands back to face forward. Okay. And then you can either keep the left toes tapped or you can come onto the top of the foot. I'd like you to extend the right leg back. Tendency here, especially in yoga, is we collapse into the low back because it looks pretty. I want you to draw the rib cage in. The glute is what is lifting that back leg. Really press the heel away. Activate the whole of that back leg. Maybe walk the left hand forward. Maybe you want to pick up the left hand. But keep the ribs, keep pulling the belly up towards the spine. Heel presses back. One more deep breath in. Exhale, heel and hand come down. Good. Swap sides. Straighten the left leg back. Push the heel away, lift up. Draw the belly and the ribs in. Maybe walk the right hand forward. Maybe lift up the arm. Keep pulling belly up to spine. Heel presses away. Use the glute. Lift the leg a little bit higher. Go on, Laura, get that arm up. One more breath in. Good. Exhale. Bring the hand and the knee down. Push back. Find your child's pose. Just take a few breaths here. Just let yourself settle back into your breath. As you inhale, really concentrate on breathing into the back of the body. Imagine spreading the back of the body wide, the shoulder blades spreading out. And as you exhale, let the body feel even heavier. Taking one more breath cycle. Good, and then slowly start to shift the weight forward into the hands. Exhale, tuck the toes, push back, find downward dog. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Good, walk the feet wide. And sink down to find your yogi squat balasana. Good. Bringing the hands together, use the backs of the elbows to push the knees out. If you're sat all the way down and you're thinking you're quite comfortable, I want you to push down with the feet and lift the whole body up, not just the hips. I want you to lift the whole body up. So we really want to get into muscles here, not just dump into our end zone because it's comfortable. Good. Keep a nice long spine, chin pulls back. Take one more long breath in. And exhale, sink the hips down. Good. Okay, walk the feet together. So I'm just going to go for a show of hands because you can't see each other. Who has never done crow before? Just so I know what kind of, where we're at. Ah, great, everyone's fairly used to crow. Wonderful, that's a good place to start. Okay, so as per, you're gonna walk the feet together. Hands come down in front. Fingers really make sure they are spread wide. If your fingers are all bunched up, you do not have a good base to balance. So fingers spread wide apart, and then we're pulling the fingertips in towards the heel of the hands. So we've got Hasta Bandha really active. We're going to start to lift the hips up. If we're working on crow, so our first kind of arm balance, we're going to keep the weight shifting forward, gaze shifting forward, knees are on the backs of the elbows, pick up the feet and rock the weight back. If we're getting quite comfortable with crow, what I'd like you to do is as you lift the hips up and shift forward, we'll all start with crow before we shift into crane anyway. And we're normally quite kind of dumpy. I want you to start to squeeze the elbows in, hug the knees in, and then lower back down. Hug and squeeze, lower back down. Shavak, you want to look as far forward as you can. Look forward, don't look down. Forward, 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 forward. Nice, good. Good, Maria. Good. Nice, Laura. Start to squeeze the elbows in a bit. Start to try and hug them in once you've got the knees balancing. Good, Maria. Keep shifting forward a bit. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nice. Good. Good. Okay. So if you're starting to shift from crow to crane, there's lots of different ways of practicing crane, starting to get the straight arm that we're all kind of getting used to seeing, I suppose. So with crane, it's a different approach. You'd start standing, or at least I start standing. So if I start, well, I've got really short dinosaur arms. So if I start down here, yeah, hard, too hard. I start standing. Hands come down in front, and again, same thing. So the knees come up. So I'm rising onto my tiptoes first to create more space. Knees are going to come into the backs of the armpits. Gaze goes forward, and I feel the whole weight now of my shin resting against the back of my arm. One foot, pick up the other foot. So to here, I'm in crane, and because the whole leg is now resting, I need to start to straighten the arms to lift myself higher. And then I can come back down. So we're working here on starting to straighten, pull the elbows in, pull the knees in, and come down. It takes quite a while. It definitely took me a while. One thing I would say is we often think about simply shifting the weight forward and we get these incredible bruises from the back of the arm. You want to imagine pushing the arms back into the legs as much as the legs are dumping down on the arms. You've got to really push them off as if you're trying to push the legs away from you. So feel free to have a play. I'll have a watch and see if I can give anyone any feedback. Go on, Maria. That's it, that's it. Yes, nice. Nice, Laura, start to straighten the arms. Think, lift up. Good. Gaze forward, Grace. Forward, 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 forward. Nice, Jay. Squeeze. Yes. Just watch the fingers a little bit. Keep them pulling in. Yeah. Yes. That's it, Charlotte. Yep. Yes, good. Nice. Yes. Think up and forward. Yes. Well done. Okay, for those of you that are quite comfortably hanging out in crane, we'll do one more different variation. And you can obviously start to play with lifting one knee off the back of the arm. For me, that is still my absolute kryptonite. So if I demonstrate it, I'm probably going to land on my face, but that's where most of us land at some point. So there's different variations. So from crow or from crane, so if you're doing it down in crow, you can do the same thing. So instead you find your way back into your crow, which is obviously a little bit lower, and you can just start by straightening and bringing the toes down towards the wrists. You can do the same thing in crane, so lifting higher, shifting the weight forward. And instead of working on locking out the arms so much, you're working on trying to straighten the leg to touch. You can also start to try and lift one knee and rock back down again and lift the other knee off. Not in my repertoire right now, working on it. Have a bit of a play with anything that you want to, whether it's trying to straighten the leg so that the toes tap onto the back of the wrist. It just encourages you and reminds you to keep pushing up, because we do tend to dump down a bit and we want to keep the chest wide and really push the ground away. Nice, Jay. Lift the hips up as you straighten the leg. Yes. Nice, Jenny. Karis, you're so high. Good. Good. All right. If you've got water near you, obviously have a fairly hefty slug. Just give the wrist a bit of a shake out. Okay, so okay, so we're going to come off the wrist for a quick second, and we're going to try baby crow. So baby crow tends to work in much the same way as crow, but structurally, obviously, it's different because you're not on hands, you're on your forearms. So baby crow is awkward to get into, so apologies in advance because there's no really delicate way of entering into baby crow. So forearms come down. Tendency with this is for the elbows to wing out, like we do in pinches. So if you know, once you start shifting weight through the elbows, that they wing out, bring a block between them and keep pressing in. I advise that rather than a strap pushing out, because if you have a strap and you're working on pushing out, you're not developing the right muscles, and then when you take the strap away, you'll just, so actually by hugging the elbows in, holding a block in situ, you're more likely to build the right framework. So you'd come down. If you're using a block, grand. If not, you know, don't need to. Forearms come down. Walk the feet in. So you need to be quite bunched. Same thing again. So knees onto the backs. Shift forward so you feel like your nose is touching the ground, and then start to push with the hands and lift up. Ooh. Nice, Jenny. Yes. Most of you are doing what I tried to do before. I used to try and get my knees onto it whilst keeping my face off. I couldn't when I was learning. I had to literally, most of the time I still do, I have to bring my nose down and kind of let it smoosh and then pick it up. You can always bring a cushion underneath your nose if you're worried about changing your face shape. Go on, Jay. That's it. Nice. Nice, Grace. Okay. Calm down and shake them out. Okay, so the next one, we're going to do one exercise to kind of build towards it, and then we'll go into it. So when you come down to lie on your back, take the weight off the hands for a second. Okay. Bring the feet towards the ceiling, straighten the legs as much as you can, and you want them in kind of a V shape. And then I want you to reach the hands up and then lift the shoulders through. Really push the hands away. So you're engaging the lower abdominals and then come back down. This time, turn the hands away. So palms face away, fingertips really pull back, stretch out the forearms. Again, if you're like me and you've got the weird elbows going on, micro bend them. And then start to lift up. Push, 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 push. And come down. 3 more of those. Lift up, push, pull the legs towards you, push the ground away or the air away, and come down. 2 more. Exhale. Lift up, pull the legs in, and down. Last one. Up, and down, bring the knees in. Okay, rock yourselves up and down. Find your way back to a seated position. Okay, so this time we're going to go for Kundinyasana. Bhujavidasana, sorry, shoulder pressing pose. And then from there we can transition into Tadasana. So I guess it's probably easier if I show you first. With Bhujavidasana, hands come down behind the feet. If when you get your hands behind, they don't come flat, i.e. the heels of the hands don't get there, double over your mat so the heels have got something to rest on. The heels of the hands rather have got something to rest on. So when you shift the weight back, you've got the whole hand grounded. Can you see, or am I not far enough away? Okay. With this one, tendency is to immediately slip and land on your arse. So if you're worried about it, put a cushion underneath. After a few falls, it does start to get a tad uncomfortable. Okay. So to get yourself down whereby you're not going to land, I always take a hold of the backs of my ankles. It helps me waddle my shoulders underneath a bit more, so I'm a bit deeper. If I try to straighten my legs, I would snap. Don't worry about it, I'm not bendy. Okay, hands are going to come down. It's a trust game. I have to look forward. So like we were doing earlier in those lunges where I was saying to push the hips back, if we try and pick up from a bunched stance, all that's going to happen is you're going to pick up and fall down. To be able to pick up, you have to be able to find length first. So stay here. Think about lifting the crown of the head. Push your bum back as if you're trying to twerk. Shift the weight back. Pick up the feet, cross them over. And actually holding here once you're up isn't that bad. I can hold here quite comfortably. Swap the legs the other way. But it's because I'm constantly, even if it doesn't look like you're doing much, it's that anatomical trying to breathe. This is going up this way and I'm trying to push my hips back. And that gives you the space to actually then pull the feet up. She says, have a play. Okay, so finding your way into a standing position, bending yourself down, feet quite wide apart. Hands come to the back of the ankles, and then use the hands to help push the shoulders underneath a little bit more. Squeeze the legs in. It's called shoulder pressing pose for a reason. If you want to, walk the feet a bit closer, hopefully engaging more through the shoulders. Okay, now bring the hands behind you. Sit the hips down. Good, so we're trying to sit with the hands in situ, and it might be that the feet stay down for now. It might be that you're able to lift the gaze, all about the gaze. Lift the gaze up, pick up one foot, maybe pick up the other foot and cross it. Nice, Maria. Tell the Ashtangi in the room. Hey, nice, Jerry. Can you swap them the other way? Nope. That's it, Karis. Walk the feet in first before you start to shift the weight back. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now look forward and up. Go on. Okay. So, for those who are able to sit back on their hands, you can move from Bhujagadasana, shoulder pressing pose, into Titivasana, flying insect. I'll show it for those of you that can do that entry. I still really struggle with trying to get into it via this entry. It just doesn't feel natural for me. So I'll show you 2 transitions you can do from Bhujagadasana, so you know what to work on after this. So, mainly because my left leg goes straight and my right leg is still like bunched up. We're all human. Okay, so I would bring myself back, find my way into Bhujagadasana. Okay, for Titivasana, same principle. You need to lift up. So I'm not here, I'm lifting up. Slowly start to straighten the legs up. You can then transition from here to crow. So I tend to wind spring wipe my legs from side to side. One leg goes back, the other leg goes back. You can find your way into a crow. Feel free to have a play. If neither of those transitions work for you, keep working on Bhujagadasana, and then I'll show you how to get into Titivasana without needing to do the transition. If you want to, or you're welcome to just take a seat for a minute and shake out the wrists. You choose. Nice, nice, nice. Look up, look up, look up, look up, Shabbat. Yes! Go on, Jay, nice. Think bum back, head up. Twerk, twerk, twerk. Yes! That's it, nice. Good. Nice, Jenny. Yeah, straddling splits. Nice, good. Okay, if you want to come down, you're welcome to keep playing. I'm in over time, but not too bad. Okay. So, to move into, to get into rather Titivasana without having to do, well, I mean, Jenny, you're very coordinated. Jenny manages to get one leg to go one way and one leg to go the other. I have to do both my legs this way and then both my legs. Yeah, I look like I'm screen wiping. Okay, so to get into Titivasana without needing to first arm balance, you can, and we'll do a warm up before we prep this, but just so you understand it, the arm comes back. Ugh, too far away. Okay. So you're going to push the leg back, hand will come down, balancing act, foot up, shoulder under, hand goes down, and then shift the weight forward and pick up. For me, that's much easier because I can then shift my hips forward and back and play around with it that way than it is for me to try and straighten my legs. So we'll warm up for it first. Give your hands a break. Pick up your right leg, straighten the left leg down. Pick up the right leg. You might be here. You might be able to bend the foot and bring it into the crook of the left elbow and then wrap the right arm around. Maybe you can interlace the fingers. Common tendency now is I've rounded into my low back, but you can't see that because you haven't faced sideways to me. And my foot's come down. What I want you to do, same as always, lift the crown of the head up, push the bum back, and then try and lift the foot up. Yeah, now it's harder. Those are the faces I was looking for. They're like, ugh. Keep trying to lift the chest up towards the leg. Keep lifting the leg up. Maybe draw the foot a little bit closer to you if you can. Okay. Swap the legs over. Bring the foot up. So again, you might be here. One side will always be tighter than the other. It doesn't matter. You might be able to bring the foot into the elbow. Hand comes around. And again, if you've rounded into the low back and think I can't see you, I'll be able to tell. Lift your chest up and then try and pick up the foot. try and notice what other parts of the body tense as you do this. Notice if the glute has actually tensed up, which is the opposite of what we want to happen. Notice if the tongue has gone to the roof of the mouth. And someone told me the other day that if they don't hate me at least once in my class, I haven't taught them a very good job. So if this is the pose you're hating me in, I apologize, but it's good for you. Pull the foot a little bit closer. Okay. Bring the foot down. Give the legs a bit of a shake out. We all have a hip that is naturally more open for us. For me, it's obviously my left. My right is, well, just sit. Yeah, it's like, this is my imbalance. Working on it. Okay, so pick the leg that is bendier and is therefore more accessible for you. Bring the foot into the opposing hand. Okay, you're going to use that hand to push the knee back. So as if you were doing a happy baby, but you're sitting up. The other hand comes down and you want to push the thigh back so the hand comes as close to the hip as you can. And then squeeze the arm over. Okay, now it's a bit of a balancing act. You got to shift your weight back so you have my full permission to round into your low back, lean back. Pick up the other leg. Grab hold of the heel of the other leg. Push it up and back. And bring the hand down. It's like rapid fire with the second one. All right, when you are there, you're now in a really horrible bunched position and collarbones and everything else is like, what are you doing? You're gonna start to push the weight forward. So all I'm doing now is I'm taking the weight into my fingertips, shifting the weight forward. Push with the hands, lift the hips, straighten the legs at the same time. Leave us up there, push-ups. How are you getting on? Nice, Jay. That's it, Maria. Lift forward, forward, forward first. That's it. In fact, try and turn the fingers forward a bit rather than having them turning in so much. That's it. Ah, nice, Charlotte. Good balance. Go on. Quick, get the hand down. Yes. Go on, Jenny. Don't straighten the legs, Jenny. Try and keep them as tight as you can and then lift up and then straighten them out. If you straighten them out whilst you're trying to lift, you tend to lose all momentum in the core. That's it, Laura. All right. Once you've had enough of that one, bring the hands together and just wave through the wrists. We got one more to go. And then go the other way. Oh, Charlotte. Okay, all right. It's amazing how many people cannot do that the other way. It's like, no. Okay. Come to lie down for a second. Bring your block with you. We'll just stretch out the front of the body because we've just done quite a lot of like crunching and shortening. So we need to have it quite long for what we're about to do. So roll yourselves down, plant the feet. Draw the rib cage in, press the feet down, and just slide the block underneath you for a moment. Let the hips come back down to rest. Let the body feel heavy against the block or the book or whatever you're using. And then start to gently pat the feet away. They might not straighten. They might not feel right to straighten them right now. That's okay. Just walking them away will invite a deeper sense of length through the front of the hips. Let the breath come back. And let your mind come back to find it. Fill the belly, spread the width of the ribs, breathe into the upper back. And exhale, let it all out. One more deep breath cycle. Fill the belly, breathe into the width of the body, fill the upper back. Exhale it out. Good. Before we get too comfortable, start to bend the knees and plant the feet. Draw the tailbone underneath, press the feet down, lift the hips just enough to remove the block and bring the hips all the way down. Walk the feet mat width distance apart and just gently drop the knees from side to side, let go of the low back. Okay, bring the knees in towards the chest and just gently rock and roll till you find your way to a seated position. Okay, last one is Kundalini. My hair is getting more feral by the arm balance, so apologies for that. Okay, so Kundalini, there are different ways of getting into it. It's called flying splits. So kind of see where we're going with that. Okay, I'll demo it and then we'll see which entry serves you better. So the first way that I certainly learned to get into it was to come at it from a downward dog. Raise the leg up, shift the weight forward. For me, I can't do it if I'm just coming from here, bringing my leg forward. I kind of lose coordination. You might be one of the lucky ones. You're going to shift your weight forward. Bend the elbows out. So as if you were doing a really bad push-up. Knee comes onto that bent arm. Other elbow comes in. Shift the weight forward. Back leg will start to lift up, and then you can straighten the front leg out. So I'll show you from the other way. Because one elbow basically goes that way, and the other one goes in. That way. I'm hypermobile, so for me to bend my elbows twisted isn't an issue. Most of you, I'm hoping, for your sake, are not, in which case it might be easier to begin with by turning. So if you're bringing your right knee onto the back of the right tricep, this arm stays normal and the elbow goes out. This hand, turn the fingers out so that you can literally make both elbows pivot to the right side if the right leg's going, vice versa, to the left if the left arm is going. So if I was going to show you to the right side and I just went straight the leg out, I shift my weight forward, right knee comes onto the back of the right elbow, that goes out that way, this elbow comes in. So my hip is now resting on that left elbow, shifting forward, the leg picks up. I'm not really thinking about it, it's just because my weight has gone so far forward that the leg naturally lifts. Eventually you get to the point where you don't need to bring the other elbow underneath the body so much. You can actually use, or you don't need to use it, your abdominal is strong enough to support the arm balance. To begin with, I would recommend having 2 points of contact because it makes it much easier to try and get that initial balance. So you're welcome to try and play with it that way, and then I'll show you the other entry in case it fits you better. I'll be over here hanging out and having a watch. Oh, Maria, I can see you better now. Yay! Nice, nice, Jenny. Try both legs. If you know that you have a lead leg, try the other leg. Go on, Karis, forward, 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 forward. Yes! That's it, Charlotte. Yep, good setup.
Don't jump. Don't jump, just keep shifting forward. Okay, I'm going to show you the other entry before you all completely burn yourselves out. At least this is the last one. When I do these on 200 TTCs, I think we had 8 arm balances to get through in 2 hours. It was like rapid fire arm balances. It's exhausting. Okay, so the other way of getting into it, which some people find more amenable simply because of flexibility or because trying to bring the leg forward to get it onto the back of the tricep actually is just proportionally for some people just doesn't work. You know, if your body is much longer than the length of your legs, trying to match that up isn't physically possible. So if you're coming at it the other way, you would come into it via a low lunge, which is so much calmer anyway. You're going to bring the hand underneath. So same again, use thumb and first finger to hold on to the ankle, drop the shoulder down, hand comes underneath. So I have to shift my weight over to the right side to get the hand to come down. Left hand parks itself, left toe lifts up. Okay, I'm going to shift myself forward, but my foot is now blocking me from going forward. So you're going to have to start to waddle the right foot. I don't like this entry very much at all. Walk the right foot out. And same again, the legs will lift. But this time, instead of the back leg leading, the front leg has to lead. Because by lifting the right leg up and shifting the weight forward by pulling with the right, again, the left leg will lift up. So trying it that way around. So starting in your lunge,
Sliding the arm underneath. Walking the right foot out. So we know that the knee is now capable of resting on that elbow. Walk the right foot wide, turn the toes out to the diagonal, or left if you're going that way. Keep walking the right foot out. So you're going to get lower and lower and lower. Straighten the leg. Shift the weight forward, pick up the left leg. To do that, you need your left elbow underneath you. I just forgot. That's it, Maria. So get your left hand closer in. Yes, good. And now start to shift the weight forward so the left elbow comes underneath the body. I hate that entry. For me, the other one is much more attainable, but for some people, they prefer it. The other variation of that is to just not straighten the front leg. So actually to keep the toes wrapped around the front arm. So instead, I've got enough room to show you coming forward. Trying to diagonalize much space behind me. Okay, so instead I would be here. I bring the front foot this way and up. Shift the weight forward, pick up the back leg. So my front foot isn't pushing on the ground, the foot is just lifted. But my foot hugs around the leg and I can lift up. And it just gets you used to the feeling of picking up the back leg. Take your last 2 minutes to practice anything you want to practice while I can give you any kind of feedback. Nice, Jay. Good. Sorry, jinxed you. Nice, you're back. Good, good. Don't kick it. Slowly, slowly. Shift forward, 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 forward. Now pick it up. Nice, good. Okay. Once you're done, find your way into a kneeling position and then find your way into a tabletop. Turn the hands out away from you. And just start to micro bend the elbows, shift away from left to right. Good. And then try and turn the hands all the way around towards the body. Again, if you do this and your elbows look like mine, Charlotte, bend them. Bend them towards you and it feels really strange, and then try and lean the weight back a bit. That's it, Maria, good. So Maria, I want you to bend the elbows. Don't straighten them, try and bend them a bit. Yes, now lean back. There you go, good. If anyone thinks I'm not leaning back, this is me leaning back. My forearms are really tight, sorry. Okay, shift the weight forward. Turn the hands back around like a normal human being. Okay, this next one, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, please don't do it. Otherwise, you're welcome to do it, but move quite slowly. If you have carpal tunnel, I just want you to sit and ripple out through the joint and go the other way. Okay, so you're going to bring the hands down. We're going to come onto the back of your left hand. So you're going to face the palm up. Right hand, thumb and first finger are going to clamp around the wrist, and the hand is going to firmly press down. Okay, shift the weight slightly over to the left, so we're now evenly distributing the weight straight down rather than distributing too much. And then I just want you to squeeze the left fingers around the right hand. And then open the left fingers out and push them down into the mat as hard as you can. Squeeze them around the hand. Open them all the way out. One more time, squeeze them around and open them up. Good, slowly shift the weight all the way over to the left side. Peel the right hand off, bring it down, peel the left hand off, shake it out. Good, and then swap sides. So right hand comes down, back, the hand faces down. Left thumb and finger take hold of the wrist, press down. Good, shift the weight back to a neutral position. And then same thing, so we're going to squeeze the right fingers around the left hand. And then open the fingers all the way down into the mat. Clamp the hand around. Open all the way out. One more time, clamp the fingers. Open all the way out. Shift the weight over to the right side, lift up the left hand, lift up the right hand, place it back down. Good, climb back. Interlace the fingers, just wiggle them out, make it really loose. And then go the other way. Good. Clamp the hands together and just make a tighter fist. And then go the other way.
Good, okay. Find your way down to lying on your back with the knees in towards the chest. Ooh. Most of you have a fairly established yoga practice. Therefore, I must admit, at the end of this class, I'm going to leave it to you as to which posture you would like to take to finish off your practice. If you're not sure, I would probably suggest bringing the block underneath like we did before and just stretching out the front of the body and doing a quick knee drop side to side. If you feel the need to spend longer in a full twist, by all means, of course, do so. If you'd like to do a happy baby or anything else, please do take that to finish off your practice. But just taking whatever your body needs. Some of you might feel like you need a hip opener, a hip closer, a twist. Really allow the body to rest. Whichever position you've taken, allowing the glutes to soften, the spine to relax. Encourage the jaw to settle and the tongue to draw down from the roof of the mouth. If you've taken a twist, gently swapping sides. But whatever you've taken, I invite you to let the whole body really just feel heavy. And then when you're ready, finding your way down into Shavasana. Straightening the legs all the way down to the bottom of the mat. If you feel like you need to support yourself, obviously please bring a cushion or anything else that you've got underneath the knees. But otherwise, walking the feet mat width distance apart, bringing the hands down by the side of the body, the palms turn up. Closing down the eyes. Coming back full circle to where the practice began today. Noticing the weight of the heels. The weight of the calves, the backs of the thighs. Noticing the weight of the glutes and really just allow the body, the lower body, to just spread wider, feel heavier, feel softer. Start to notice the spine and the vertebrae that come into contact with the ground. Soften the shoulder blades, soften the backs of the arms, unfurl the fingers from the palm. Let the back of the hands feel heavy. Come to notice the weight of the back of the head. And gently tuck the chin slightly to the chest to find more space at the back of the body. Deep breath in, fill the belly, fill the chest and the collarbones. And as you exhale, gently part the mouth, sigh it back out. As you next inhale, breathe into the width of the body, spread yourself wide across the mat. And exhale, ribs back to spine. Inhaling into the back of the body, lift yourself all the way off. Open the mouth and exhale all the way back down. Finding the breath as it moves through you. Letting the body ground down. Heavy, restful. Notice where the mind wanders and gently draw it back. Focusing on that count of breath. And very slowly start to move the fingers and move the toes. Keeping the eyes closed, reach the arms up overhead and behind you, stretch yourself out. Take a deep breath, slowly in your own time, start to bend the knees. And when you feel ready, rolling onto your right or your left side, curling yourself up and allowing yourself to pause for a moment here. Keep the eyes closed, that's straight to the top leg, push down with the top hand, push yourself up to a seated position on your mat. And bring the hands to rest on the knees or on thighs, or perhaps they come to meet at the lap. Rolling the shoulders back, using all of that flight that we found to find more length in the spine, lift the crown of the head taller. Take a deep breath in, fill the belly, fill the chest, lift the collarbones all the way up, open the mouth, let it out. Inhale, fill all the way up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, fill all the way up, hold. Take in a tiny bit more air, open the mouth, let it all out. Find your own natural breath pattern, start to lift the corners of the mouth. And just give yourself a minute to be thankful that you turned up to play today on your mat. Something we as adults don't do too much of. And slowly extending the arms out in front of you. Rubbing the hands together to generate some heat. Bringing the fingers over the eyes. Blinking the fingers open into the darkness behind the hands. Spread the fingers to that light back in slowly when you feel ready. And then draw the hands down in front of the body. Namaste. Thanks, guys. You worked so hard.